you ever felt instantly calmer the moment you stepped into a park, listened to rainfall, or heard birds singing in the morning? There's actually science behind why nature makes us feel so good. One of the prevailing psychological theories about the positive impact of immersion in nature is called attention restoration theory. It says that being in nature helps our brains relax. Instead of focused work tasks like solving problems and making decisions, nature lets our brains just be. Nature helps our senses wake up, and this can quiet our busy thoughts. In this video, let's turn up the volume on one of the 5 senses in particular and focus on nature sounds and soundscapes. Sound plays a huge part in how we feel every day. The soundtrack in your favorite movie can make you feel excited, scared, or happy, whereas unwanted sounds, like loud voices or honking cars, can interrupt your focus. Sound pollution is one of the biggest distractions in the modern workplace, and people use everything from headphones to noise machines and even creative flooring and furniture to block unwanted interruptions. One of my favorite workplace soundtracks are nature soundscapes, like a bubbling stream or a forest full of birds. Is that just a personal preference, or is there something more universal about it? Let's take a listen to what science has found. When people think of the peace and quiet of nature, they don't usually mean complete silence. Instead, they generally mean peaceful sounds like waterfalls, birds, or gentle wind, and also the absence of human-made sounds like cars or conversation. In one study from Sweden, people looked at photos of nature. Some of them listened to nature sounds as they looked, while others just saw the pictures with no sound. The group without sound actually missed the sounds and even felt lonely looking at nature in silence. In a similar study, participants experienced a virtual reality forest as unsettling when there was no sound accompanying the visual. Let's test it ourselves. Take a look at this forest setting, first with sound and then without. Which one feels more immersive? Which one do you like better? Your answer to these questions can help you better understand your personal definition of what it means to escape into nature. For many, sound matters, and the type of natural sound matters too. Most people like the sounds of water, wind, or birds more than traffic or phones. But not every bird or animal sound is automatically relaxing. A series of studies in the UK examined bird sounds and learned that people generally rate these on a sliding scale from pleasant to unpleasant. Think songbirds versus seagulls. So, not all bird sounds are created equal. A study in China discovered that people who heard less pleasant bird sounds, like crows, felt less restored after spending time in nature. Still, personal preference certainly makes a difference. A group of scientists in Australia discovered that the more the sounds in an environment match our intended purpose, like to chill out or wake up, the more relaxing we'll find that natural space. So, if a sound feels right to you, it really does help. What if you're not able to go outside? Can nature sounds help you feel better even when you're indoors? Researchers in the US decided to find out. They showed a stressful video to a group of people, then played different sounds as the people recovered. Some heard pure nature sounds, some got nature sounds mixed with other noises, and others heard nothing at all. Guess which group felt best? That's right, those who listened to the pure nature sounds felt the biggest boost in their mood. Another U.S. experiment measured muscle tension and pulse rate as participants sat in a waiting room listening to either nature sounds, classical music, or silence. The participants who listened to the nature sounds showed significantly reduced pulse rate and muscle tension than the other 2 groups, and this just after 7 minutes in the waiting room. So nature sounds really can help us feel better and less stressed, even when we're not actually outdoors. Lots of us already know that being somewhere loud and noisy, like a busy classroom or office, can make it harder to think and work. In particular, noise hampers our working memory in various ways, impacting tasks like proofreading, mental math, and reading comprehension. Using that as a baseline, a group of Swedish researchers wondered, can nature sounds help counteract these negative effects? To test this, the researchers set up a kind of fake office with lots of noise, where people worked for 2 hours on a range of cognitive tasks. Then they were given a break. During their break, participants were randomly assigned to one of 4 activities: watching a video of a river with river sounds, listening to just the river sounds, sitting in silence, or staying in the noisy office environment. Here's what they found. People who stayed with office noise during their break felt the least motivated, while those who watched the river video accompanied by river sounds felt the most re-energized and motivated of any of the groups. These findings recall the earlier studies we discussed, where participants generally prefer a multi-sensory experience of nature. Even though there's a lot of useful information here, science still has more to learn. Studies don't always agree on the exact ways that nature sounds help us, especially when it comes to how our bodies react or how long the effects last. But many researchers do agree that our own imagination and beliefs matter a lot. In one Swedish study, people listened to the same white noise. Some were told it was a waterfall, others were told it was a white noise machine, and a third group wasn't given any messaging about the noise. The participants who thought they were listening to a waterfall reported feeling more refreshed than anyone else. That means what we think we're hearing can change how we feel, too. Now that we've examined some of the scientific insights on nature soundscapes, how can you apply these lessons toward better ways of working? Here are some practical tips. Tip number 1, the experience of nature is more restorative and enjoyable when it's immersive, when the brain can relax and the senses can come alive. The next time you head out for a restful break in nature, try leaving the headphones behind and instead soak up the sounds all around you. Tip number 2, natural sounds are more restorative than other noises. Try playing nature sounds rather than music or white noise in your waiting area, especially if you work in an industry where customers are likely to be stressed. Tip number 3, listening to the noise of a busy workplace zaps your energy and motivation. Rather than tolerating it, try playing a nature soundscape while you're working or on a break. A lot of meditation and focus-based phone apps include options for these, and you can find tons of free versions on YouTube. Tip number 4, with some important exceptions, nature sounds are generally more pleasing and replenishing than urban sounds, and nature sounds are even more replenishing when they're paired with nature visuals. If you're lucky enough to work near a nature landscape like a park or a forest, try opening a window to allow both the sights and sounds to nourish you together. If not, try queuing up a YouTube video of a natural environment with audio. Remember, the most relaxing nature sound is the one you enjoy the most, so experiment to find your favorite. Nature sounds are a powerful, simple way to help us feel calmer and more focused, whether we're inside or out. Work life is noisy and stressful, but sometimes all we need is a deep breath and a little bit of nature's music.